right, everybody, and good evening, Swirly Nation. Live from Minnesota, a little spring hockey action. What do you say? What do you say? I'm sure there's going to be people jumping on and off throughout. So welcome, as always, to City TV for today's game between the Minnesota Machine and your Power Edge Pro, Lake Effect Elite. So a surprise broadcast here as we bring you a little spring hockey action from the land of 10,000 lakes, the state of hockey, here in Minnesota. It's the SDP Invitational, and we are at Breck Ice Rink. This is the one and only game here at Breck Ice Rink. We'll go through today's lineup for Lake Erie Elite. The roster for Lake Erie: the goaltender, number 1, the squish tender, Squishy Evans, and number 30, the cannoli, Ryan Calabrese. Familiar names to City Nation. Also, for Lake Erie, number 2, Braden Lee, number 7, Parker McCann, number 8, Alex Denny, number 9, Robbie So, number 11, Austin Modine, number 17, Easton Reichert, number 23, Dylan Fowler, number 34, RJ Farron, number 44, Grant Morris, number 53, Emerson Reynolds, number 76, Xander Shank, number 88, Danny Foster, and number 91, Justin Castonguay. As we get ready for the opening face-off here, the Minnesota Machine will be in orange, bright orange, Flyer-esque orange. And your Lake Erie Elite will be in their white Power Edge Pro uniforms, their white jerseys with the Power Edge Pro logo on the chest, black and red striping, black socks. Looks like we have announcers. Lake Effect, I think it's Lake Effect, not Lake Erie. Lake Effect. So we've got starting lineup coming at us here.
Starting forward, number 15, Gibson McLean. Starting forward, number 29, Donovan Flair. And starting at center, number 22, Ashton Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Machine and senior coach by Seth Emperor. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
Starting lineups here for Lake Effect. There's the cannoli. And Danny Foster, a defenseman. They'll be joined by number 2, Braden Lee. Forward. 97. I don't have a 97. I don't have an 86 either. I think maybe 87 might be So, who's listed on our roster as number 9. And 97, I believe, might be Farron. I'll try to get the names clear for you here. Looks like the Cannoli getting the start here. So it'll be Farron and Show up front with Casting Game. Fowler, or Foster, Danny Bananas Foster, and Braden Lee, the defense. One cool thing about this particular squad, kids made up from all over North America here. A couple kids from Canada as well as far south as Texas. Far north is the great north of Canada. No icing here as the puck is deflected as Lake Effect puts it deep into the Minnesota end. They counterattack up the far wing. Battling right in front of the scorer's table is the back pressure coming from the Lake Effect forwards as the puck's worked into the offensive zone right wing corner for Minnesota. Tossed around on the breakout. Swipe that by Lee. He'll get control, skate to stick, and a 2-on-1 opportunity here. Into the offensive zone comes Casting Game. Sends it across, looking for, I believe, Farron there. Up to the point is Show covering for Lee, and back comes the Machine off the stick of Foster. Gathered in by Calabrese. Will set it up behind the cage for Lee. Lee up off the skate of Alex Denny, picked off, and in come the Machine, and a big sprawling save by the Cannoli. And sweet buttery crumpets early in this one. As back comes Shank. Shank with a shot off of a stick just wide. Right in after it goes Denny. Denny along the boards as it's taken away from him by Minnesota and carried out through center. Dumped into the offensive corner. It'll be Reichert back to pick it up for Lake Effect. They'll rim it around for Shank. Shank on the near wing. Able to make a beauty of a breakout pass. Winding in comes Denny, challenging two defenders. As the puck pops free, it's forced to the near corner, near half wall. They'll battle there along the wall. I believe that would be Morris, Grant Morris, as Denny pressures the right wing corner. Keeps it deep into the Minnesota end as the Machine look to regroup. Carrying out over the blue line. Moving it on this near side wall as Minnesota looks for a line change. Puck possessed and broken out by Reynolds. Taken by Minnesota in the neutral zone. Castengay bumped from behind, the arm raised, and it looks like Lake Effect is going to head to the power play on a body check call here on Team Minnesota. As Castengay took a shot high and a bit from behind there at center ice. And we'll see the Lake Effect power play. Face off one towards Foster, knocked away from him. Lee defending in center, able to take the puck away and put it right back in the Minnesota end. Far side corner. 15-minute periods here. And looks like we'll play with 2-minute penalties. Lee able to get a backhand on it and keep it in. Castengay pressuring in the corner. He carried around behind the net by the Machine, and they'll come out the center defending as they gain the zone as Foster. Cutting into the middle, shot down low, kept out by the Cannoli. Swipe to the outside, they'll battle for it there, Lee and Foster. Chopped up the wall. Tried to be cleared by Fowler, couldn't quite exit the zone. It'll be Lee now in his own end. Using crossovers to gain speed as he drives up the near side into the offensive zone. Winding, firing that shot blocked. He had So headed to the net. So will be the first one to the puck on the near side. Shot coming in off the stick of McCann. Blocked by the Machine. Sent back out the center with just under a minute to go with the man advantage. It'll be tossed back in by McCann. So into the corner to pick it up. Able to leave it there for the swooping Farron. Farron in, weaving, looking, backhand across for Show. Just couldn't connect. He'll pick it up in the corner and try to set it up behind the net. It'll elude the stick of Farron there. As pressuring it, Denny. The machine able to dump it all the way down. It will be icing on the play. So with 29 seconds remaining on the penalty to Minnesota, will come the whole way back to the machine zone. It'll be Alex Denny to take the draw. Rimmed around by Minnesota. Great pressure there by Farron. Able to disrupt the machine breakout. They'll set things up behind their own cage. Out to the outside, knocked out of the air by Farron at center. They'll battle for it along the boards. Good puck support there by Lake Effect. Able to come out with it, Denny. Driving towards the middle, has it swiped away as time expires on the man advantage. Minnesota back to full strength as they get one in on the cannoli. It'll come off the pad and roll to the outside. Battled for in behind. They work behind the cage. Denny battling deep along with Reichert. It'll come out to the high slot for a blast of a shot right from between the hash marks. And Minnesota will get on the board first. Just under 5 minutes into the first period. The puck comes from behind the net right out into the high slot and makes it 1-0 Machine. It'll be Caston Gay to take the ensuing face-off here. Spiked on the play by Morris, who's able to get it deep. Caston Gay playing takeaway. Right before the Machine take the puck right back. Caston Gay with the pressure, though, disrupting the Minnesota break. As a rolling puck comes out to center ice. It'll be sent in where Lee controls. Lee will fire it across. Controlled there by Reynolds. Great make-out pass here to Castigate. Weaving in with a heavy shot coming off the goaltender of Minnesota as Lee joins the play. Centers one. It'll come off of a defender. Rolling puck. Taken and forced further by Castigate as Lake Effect puts on the pressure. Back up through center. Come Minnesota. They'll dump it in. Reynolds back to play the puck. As it come off the skate, right to the stick of a Minnesota player, tries to swat it into the air, trying to tip it up to himself and swat it out of midair. Crafty play there, doesn't connect. Keep an eye on that as a rebound comes off the cannoli and is sent screaming just wide by Minnesota. Play to the outside for a heavy shot, comes up high off the cannoli, bouncing puck in front, and Lee able to come away with it. Nice play there by the Lake Effect defense. Able to gain the blue line and dump it deep where Fowler was up after the puck. It swiped all the way down, no icing, as it went right between a couple of Lake Effect players. Cannoli out to set things up. Plays it up the middle where it's gathered in by Minnesota, but not until it's out to center ice. And there, a pickoff by Castigate. He's had a couple of chances. Can he break free here as he drives in? Big save. We get the arm raised, though, and we're going to see another power play. Castigate drawing his second penalty of the game already in this one, less than halfway through period number one. This one, a tripping call. So Castigate, Shaw, and Farron with Foster and Reichert, your power play unit for Lake Effect. Castigate rolling a couple of power plays here in this one already. It's off controlled by Minnesota, kept in the zone though by Foster. There's Farron with it off the half. Up to Reichert at the point. Around the pressuring forward, able to play it right back to Foster. Looking for a backside feed to Shaw. Nice read by Foster. Shaw will gather it in the corner. On the way to Reichert at the point. Cross for Foster. As it skipped just past him. Castigate with the pressure as it's lifted up off the netting. We'll have an offensive zone face-off here for Lake Effect. Welcome everybody to City TV. Do us a favor, click that subscribe button. If you're watching right now, make sure you click the subscribe button. If you don't know how to log into your YouTube account, it is the same as your Gmail. If you have Gmail, you also have YouTube. You can log in, click the subscribe button for us here as we bring you the SDP Invitational from Minnesota here on City TV. It'll be Farron driving off the half wall. Foster jumps down to keep the puck in on the man advantage here with about a minute to go with the extra attacker. Second power play for Lake Effect. As So comes off the wall, leaving it for Foster. Back to the point for So. Down low, Reichert with a heavy shot comes off the glove and into the netting. We'll have another offensive zone draw, 51 left on the man advantage. We're going to see Morris, Denny, and Schenk. Looks like Lee and Beaudoin. Shot from the outside eludes the cage. It'll be Lee to it. Right back into the middle, unable to get it the whole way through as it's picked off by a defender. Minnesota twists with it in their own end. Comes off the skate of Morris, picked up by Denny. Going across for Lee. Lee winding, cranking one, kicked away. Heavy shot there from the Texan. This shot blocked at the point. Here comes the machine. Down the right wing side. Lee able to get right back into play and defend very well shorthanded as the power play expires on Minnesota. They get another scoring chance. They scored right after their last penalty kill. Another scoring chance there. That one sent screaming wide of the cage, defended by the Cannoli. Minnesota 1, Lake Effect 0 as they work inside the Lake Effect zone. A centering pass comes off the stick. First one to the puck. Minnesota down to the corner, using the skates to get it to the stick. Two Minnesota players collide as Denny takes the puck away. Over to Schenk. Up off the stick of Morris. And out the center as Lake Effect gets a line change. Fresh 5 players on. As Foster sends it across to be sent up ice by McCann. Gathered in by Fowler. Fowler along the wall. Back for McCann. A battle there as they get it deep and on net. A deflected puck doesn't quite get through. Fowler up on the forecheck. As behind the defense comes the machine. In front for a heavy shot. The rebound sent wide. It goes off the post. The rebound sent behind the Cannoli, but wide of the cage. Lake Effect catching a break there as it's back out in front for a heavy shot that'll beat the Cannoli to the glove end side and give Minnesota a 2-0 lead. 5 minutes after the first one, a strike again. The boys picking their goaltender up here is the Cannoli. Holding down the fort back there, but two heavy shots from that high slot area right between the hatch marks has Minnesota up by a pair. One thing when you get these spring tournaments like this, it's going to take these boys a couple games. This Minnesota team practices together, plays together. They're together quite a bit. This Lake Effect team, first game together, so understanding each other's styles and reads, it's going to take a minute. Definitely a tough challenge, but a challenge I think they're up to. As Reynolds able to get it out, Castingay with it. At center has it knocked away. They'll leave it up the boards. It'll be an offside play, delayed offside here in Minnesota. I like that. It's Castingay, weaves out of his own end. Carries through center. Leaves it there for Farron. Farron tries to play it all the way to the corner. It'll be attempted to get this So that's picked off, but Farron jumps right up on the plate to disrupt the breakout. Lee will turn with it at center for Lake Effect. All the way into the Minnesota end before being sent back the other direction. Up come the machine into the offensive zone where they pull back and try to find space. One thing I'm noticing about this Minnesota team, good at creating space is a one-timer. Comes off the defender's stick, off the stick of the Cannoli. Twists him up behind the cage, where it's booted at by Reichert. He's able to kick it all the way around to Lee. Lee up and off the stick of So as he finds Farron. The Caesars boys connecting as they'll go between the legs off the goaltender's stick. Farron stays right with it. Able to win a battle in the corner before having it taken away, and back come the machine through center. Weaving in, looking, winding, firing the cannoli with a big glove save. Minnesota sending it all the way across. Schenk will pick things up. It's sent to the line where it's kept in by the machine. Left wing corner defended perfectly by Reichert. He's able to get it up the wall. Denny over. He and Reichert they catch before working it up to Morris. Morris able to get it out the center, and here comes Schenk. Weaving into the offensive zone. An inside-out move before firing one low off the pad. Maybe looking for a little pass off pads, and he had Morris driving there. Good play there by the Power Edge Pro. Lake Effect forward. It's knocked away from Reynolds in front. Good defensive play there by Baudouin. And out comes Lake Effect. A 2-on-1 developing. Castigay and Morris. Castigay in, weaving, firing, and a blocker save and a beauty. Castigay back to it. Darting to the middle. Another shot, and this one will find the back of the cage. That'll be Justin Castigay making it a 2-1 game. He has been a force out there for Lake Effect. Drawing a pair of penalties and now potting one to cut the lead in half. So, battling for it. And it'll be McCann forcing it to the line, but no further. Back comes Minnesota. To the line where Foster sends it to center. Twisting with it there in the machine. The outside. Gather it in. Minnesota carries all the way across their zone and leaves at the point. A shot from out top. Blocked by Foster. Picked up and shot off the blocker shot. Behind the cage where it's centered, unable to connect. And out comes So. So and Fowler with it. And Fowler has it bounce off of his twig. It'll be picked up by Minnesota in their own end. Fowler with the back pressure. Able to disrupt things and dislodge the puck. Here comes So right to it. So and McCann gaining the zone on side. He'll leave it up top where Reichert controls to the corner. Big puck picked up by Caston. In front, rolling puck, looking, winding, trying to get the shot off McCann. Instead of center. Be controlled by Lake Effect for a heavy shot from Lee at the point, who's able to get it all the way through to the cage before it's kicked out. Casting game behind, now up top for Lee. Lee looking, winding, firing, has a block. Gets it. Able to use the body perfectly there to keep that player from getting by. Great play there by the Lake Effect defenseman as they get it in deep. It's Denny in after. Lake Effect power forward working in the corner. Spinning Morris, he's got back pressure on, able to disrupt things. Lake Effect will gather at their line. A good feed there hits Morris. Taken back at center, and back comes the machine. Good back pressure passing game. Making little plays and big plays here. As Minnesota will control at center as time ticks away on period number 1. It looks like we're going to head to the first intermission. With Minnesota leading by a goal, a 2-1 score, 2 goals right from the high slot area. And it'll be a brief intermission here, about a minute. Yeah, it's on YouTube. So they gather around their respective benches here. As the migration of the dads begins the intermission migration as the dads flock from one side of the rink to the other to get that proper view along the glass.
My wife's like, who's doing that commentary? This is freaking awesome. Dude, stay with us.
Only the flight of the dodo bird more predictable than the flight of the hockey dads from one side to the other. So 2-1 Minnesota leads after one. The hometown team, the Machine. So here we start the second. It'll be Foster and Lee on defense. Fowler, Keston, Gary, and McCann up front for Lake Effect. McCann will pick it up, staying on sides. Casting able to get back into play. Great job. McCann in the corner. Working it deep. Chopping it in front. Castigate just good. I bounced just over his stick. He had the tying goal on the twig. And a rolling puck just eludes it. As Minnesota darts into the Lake Effect end before being rejected and turned back the other way by Danny Bananas Foster. He carried in by Castigate, weaving through. Has it knocked off of his twig, and back comes the orange-clad Minnesota Machine. They'll send it all the way behind Calabrese. It'll be Foster picking it up there. Reverse to Lee. Lee picks it up behind the cage. Able to control the puck up the board. He was looking for show. It'll come free right in front. And a hefty shot lifted up over the blocker's side of Calabrese to reestablish a 2-goal advantage for Minnesota, 3-1. Just over a minute into period number 2. So Lake Effect had stormed back to cut the lead in half. Now they're going to have to do it again. Looks like it'll be Denny. Leaning over the center ice dot to get things started as the bouncing puck is sent back to the line. Denny able to take it away. He drives all the way into the Minnesota end right wing corner as no reverse before it's taken away by Farron, and a heavy shot sent screaming wide of the cage. Let's see, that might have been Reichert there with the hefty blast. It was. Reynolds will track the forward all the way to the corner as a centering pass. Right there's the play that was open in the first, and Robbie So doing a great job right there to cover that one up this time and prevent that centering pass to the high slot that beat Lake Effect twice in period number 1. So there's that learning curve we talked about. When they left that high slot open twice before, not that time. As a shot screams just wide of the cannoli. Dealing it off the wall before being taken away by Lee. He'll get it to the line, but no further. Good job there by Schenk to win a battle in this speed as he flies down the right wing side. Schenk winding, firing, and a great blocker side save. And the rebound swiped away by the Machine. But Lake Effect plays take away a heavy shot by Morris. Gloved. Not held, but the rebound picked up again by the Machine. The forecheck pressure here, Lake Effect being felt as they're able to play takeaway quite a few times. Here's Castigan. He's got one already. Driving in, weaving through, has it just knocked away at the last moment. Here's Lee to the puck. As we see Lake Effect applying pressure. Here's Lee in behind. Here's Morris now. Dancing behind the cage. Centering one. Denny in front, sends it just wide. The pass eludes us. Couple of Lake Effect players goes off the skate all the way back in to the Lake Effect zone. It'll be Lee sending it up, looking for Denny. It'll be just a bit outside. And we'll head back for a defensive zone face-off here to the right of the cannoli. Thanks everybody for joining us. I know a bunch of you are like, what is going on here? Well, it's the SDP Invitational and some familiar names you'll recognize from City TV fame, Danny Foster. Of course, the Canoli Ryan Calabrese and the Squish Tender splitting net duties here for Lake Effect Fleet. As they take on the Minnesota Machine, here comes Denny down the wall. Denny to the area behind the Minnesota cage before he great body position to control it. Step out. Reichert with a shot that goes off the stick of Fowler to the corner. McCann with the forecheck. Fowler with a near side breakout and a cross ice pass by the Machine. Icing that's far enough, but it'll get in on the Canoli instead, and he'll cover it up. Reichert there to clear the forward away from his netminder. Love it. You see Reynolds and Lee on the back end. It's like Morris, Barron, and So up front. The Machine working back to the point. Heavy shot sticked away by the Canoli. Shot from the point comes off of the player in front. They're controlled by Minnesota behind as they work into the blue line. It'll scoot past, and Barron, the first one to the puck. Winding, firing, has it just go off the glove to the corner. Morris, the first one there, will leave it for fair. Barron pressuring, has it just taken away. Back come the Machine. Weaving through center. Lee able to disrupt things to the outside as a shot comes in near side, blockered away by Calabrese. And we're going to see a trip here as Barron gets the twig in the wheels of a Machine forward. And for the first time, we're going to see the Lake Effect penalty kill. I want to thank everybody for jumping on here at City TV. Make sure you click that subscribe button for us. We love that you're joining us here from the SDP Invitational. Right now, it's the Minnesota Machine 3, Lake Effect Elite 1 in Game 1 of the tournament in the 2011 division. Work Faldo out of the corner. Drag it to the middle, leaving it at the point. Taking it all the way back to the point. Resting there and centering one that's picked off. Castengay with it. He'll clear. It will be icing on Lake Effect. And Castengay from the Edmonton area. So in Canada, they are permitted to ice on the penalty kill. And that's an adjustment he'll need to make throughout the weekend. And the shot comes in, blocked away by Calabrese. Comes right back out in front. Pulled to the backhand. Nice defensive play by Reichert to keep it outside. Another centering feed. This one to the eye slot. Big kick save and a beauty by the Canoli. And Castengay gets the puck. It's a breakaway. He'll dive in, go to the backhand, and a big pad save there. As a glorious scoring chance for Lake Effect. Short-handed. And they'll play takeaway again. McCann with that. And Lordy, look who's shorty. It is Carter McCann. Making it 3-2. And cutting the lead to 1 goal with a short-handed tally. We've seen a lot of action immediately during or after penalty kills here. The first 2 Minnesota goals coming shortly after Minnesota penalty kills. And this one, a short-handed goal by Carter McCann. Cutting the lead to 1, 3-2. As the puck goes off the stick, it'll be Foster controlling it. Rolling puck at center, picked up by the Machine. They'll dart into the offensive zone, sending it across off the skate to the corner. A reverse hit there on Lee. Nice use of the body by both players cleanly. As it comes out in front for a one-timer that's pushed just wide. Lee able to win another battle, getting it out to the line, no further. Back to the point to be controlled by the Machine. Heavy shot kicked away by Calabrese. Penalty over on Lake Effect. They were able to get a shorthanded goal as Calabrese tracks this one across, gets a glove on it. And now we push and we shove. And Foster's going to head off. They're going to pick one guy out of that. So Foster's going to head off for 2 minutes here. Let's hope Lake Effect has another shorty in him. What do you say? What do you say? Penalty killers will be McCann, who had the shorty, and so looks like it's Reynolds and Rickard. They'll drive in on the onside play, carrying it to the outside, shorthanded again. McCann puts one off the back of the cage before finding Reynolds up at the point. Knocked down on the play, but controlled by Stowe along the wall, able to get it deep into the Minnesota end as the first 30 seconds expire with the puck in the Minnesota zone. Great penalty kill here by Lake Effect thus far. Minnesota looks to set up the man advantage. Nice defensive play. It'll be Stowe getting it back out the center. As that came off the skate of McCann right to the Lake Effect forward. Pressure the defense. They feel and head up ice right at the line. Puck read well. Reynolds will pick it off and gain the offensive zone shorthanded again with a heavy shot. That'll be covered up by the Minnesota goalie, and this Lake Effect team is showing their shorthanded paralysis. And a couple big chances. 57 seconds left on the Foster penalty. We see Caston Gay joined by Farron. Caston Gay's pressure frees it up for Farron. Farron looked to go to the point to Benoit. Be controlled by Lee and Alvarado. Makes it deep. In front, it'll be picked up by Minnesota. Minnesota weaves to the outside. There's all the way to the line, and they'll set things up with the man advantage. 28 seconds left as they get into that high slot area, and good stick on puck deflection sends that one wide of the cage. Caston Gay will come together with a, or they raise the arm. Who's going? It looks like Caston Gay is going to go for a body check. So with 20 seconds left on the Foster penalty, they'll be in a 5-on-3 disadvantage. Oh boy. So 20 seconds to kill here of a 5-on-3. And then they'll have the rest of a 5-on-4. So Lake Effect with a couple power plays in the first. Being returned here to the Minnesota team in the second. 8 seconds left with 2 men before Foster's going to join. They work it down low. Big save by the Canola. Wipe the side, and the first penalty over. 5-on-4 now. McCann joins as a bouncing puck goes out the center. It'll roll all the way in front of the Lake Effect bench, catching that snow, slowing up. No icing here. As the pressure by McCann forces the turnover to Casting. How many times have we said the pressure by McCann in this one? As the Machine cut off by Lee. They'll go high up off the glass, chipping in a puck, getting it by. Here comes McCann. 1-on-1. Skate the stick move. Carries it to the outside. Looking, trying to center. It's knocked away at the last moment before being picked up and carried out by the Machine into the Lake Effect end. Defended deftly there by Danny Foster. As the Machine try to set up. It's still 5-on-4 here. And a backside feed kicked out. And we get a whistle. The net might be off. The net is off its peg. So coming across, Calabrese connects with that post. sending the net off the pegs. So we'll have a defensive zone draw. 43 seconds left on the Farron penalty. Here's the machine setting things up. Assessing at the point, it's knocked away and able to clear the zone. Big time hustle there by Fowler. Now defending Denny. Denny and Fowler teaming up with 20 seconds left on the PK. Foster Baudoin on the back end as Minnesota controls behind the net. Foster able to ride him to the outside. Keeping things away from his goaltender. 10 seconds left on what has been back-to-back penalties on Lake Effect. Send it across. Looking, winding, deflected just wide of the cage. A bouncing puck looked like a ground ball. Eluding everybody. And Fowler able to pull it out and fire it all the way back to the Minnesota end. So what a job by the Lake Effect penalty kill. I think it's been the story of the game. They've got a short-handed goal. And they've killed off a number of these Minnesota penalties here in the second period. And it is a 3-2 game with 4 minutes to go here in the second frame. Weaving in comes Minnesota. Great stick there. Breaking up the play by the Lake Effect defense. Say that's Reynolds it is. Reynolds with the blue bucket, forcing things to the outside. Good down pressure there from Show as it comes out to the point. Shot comes in and Calabrese tracks it perfectly into the stomach. Able to hold on, getting a whistle. Off now controlled by the machine for a shot off the glove of Calabrese. Able to keep it out, and it's chopped up by Morris. Can he get it to So? I'm sorry, that's Shank. Shank up the outside, firing one as it spun right back through the crease. Reynolds will get there, keeping it in. Now Morris at the line, covering for the defense. Shank in the corner. In front, Morris shooting one towards net. First one doesn't get through, second one blocked as well. Back come the machine, defended by Lee. Lee will play takeaway right at the red line. Morris jumps up on the pressure, able to knock down the Minnesota player and force the puck in on net before it's covered. Two minutes and 55 seconds to play in period number 2. 3-2, the machine lead Lake Effect. To join us again tomorrow morning, we'll get a broadcast up there as well. I believe 10 o'clock the game time here. For Minnesota, what is that? 9 o'clock back home, 11 o'clock back home. I don't know how to do the time change thing. Minnesota time 10. What time is it back home? 9:30, I think. As the shot comes in, and the cannoli tracks it right to the collarbone for a hold. There's the face-off. It'll be Casting Gay, winning it back for Reichert. Reichert will leave it for Foster. Foster out of the corner, couldn't control to be worked to the point for a shot. Foster winning a battle, able to keep the puck out. He sent up the boards, but not clear. McCann couldn't quite get the Foster clearing attempt out, so Foster will do it on his own. Jumping all the way through center. Here's Riker to the puck, forcing a Minnesota player wide. Castigay there in support. Good puck support there. As it'll be reversed to Riker. Riker trying to stretch it through. Couldn't quite hit Farron, but it'll be dumped all the way in by McCann. Stays on it. Here's Castigay with the pressure. Supported well by Fowler. Back come the machine through center. Castigay there to take the puck away at the blue line. Castigay will carry over for Fowler. Off the back end as he gains the zone. Taken away by the machine. Right back pressure. They're going to raise the arm. It'll be McCann. coming from behind. They're going to get him for a slash. And back to the penalty kill. Go Lake Effect. Second period with a minute 26 to play. Let's hope that all minute and 26 is shorthanded unless the machine take a penalty. Controlled by the machine at the line. I mean, off three, the rolling puck is kept in at the blue line for a heavy shot. Calabrese with a big stop and a great box out there by the defense shorthanded. Able to push Minnesota back to the outside. Possessed there, working into the corner. Feeling right off the corner and attacking. I do like the way this Minnesota team attacks. They'll create the space and then they use that space to create opportunities. Here they work it down low, leaving it up top. Now along the wall and back to the point. To be sent across. What I thought was going to come as a one-timer. Instead, a shot pass to the backside. Nobody could get a twig to it for Minnesota. And Bedoin able to battle all over the place in the corner. Minnesota on that power play, able to control. And stick on puck deflection there by Lake Effect. That was Denny. Cross ice. Deflected puck goes wide. Around behind the cage. Owen and Lee on the back end. Keeping that puck from in front of the cage. And work its way up to the point. Pressured by So as a puck rolling around in front is swiped away and cleared. It'll catch that spot of snow right in front of the bench again. It'll check up. No icing, and that'll end the second period with the machine on the power play. And a late puck sent towards the cage there. I've seen less things called. That will not be. 34 seconds left on the McCann penalty for Lake Effect to kill here on City TV. Again, make sure you hit the subscribe button. This Lake Effect team in their white jerseys with their Power Edge Pro logo. The unofficial shots on goal here are 19 for Minnesota and 14 for the Power Edge Pro team, Lake Effect Elite. So Lake Effect looking to get a tying tally here early. Minnesota struck early in the second period. Before partway through, Power Edge Pro Lake Effect able to get one back and make it 3-2. That's where we stand. 1-1 second period after a 2-1 first period, a one-goal game, and they will be on the penalty kill to start this one. We have one dad a little late to the migration. It looked like he went to the concession stand, maybe the vending machine outside to get a snack. Perhaps some gummy candy, it looks like. As Reynolds takes the puck away, and it's cleared out by Lake Effect. It'll be an icing, though, so with 10 seconds left on the McCann penalty, it'll be a defensive zone faceoff. Lake Effect trailing by a goalie. Trying to battle back for one. Looking to tie it. He picks up by the machine, and almost Farron was an eighth of an inch away from poking that puck out and being gone. Penalty expires here. And Minnesota continues to control. Into the high slot for a shot. Great block by Castinger. He scores goals, he draws penalties, and now he's blocking shots. As Reynolds will control. Reynolds swiping it up the wall just past Farron. He's so in after. Gathered in by the machine, sent to the line, but not out here. So, leaving it for Casting. Looking to the middle, going to the backhand, forehand with a wrist shot. It's kept out and covered up. Great scoring chance there. A few more of those, and we're going to be looking at a tie game. Here at Breck Ice Arena in the land of 10,000 Lakes, Minnesota, just outside of the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Shot comes in, and the Cannoli able to get it into the chest. It'll be a defensive zone draw here for Lake. Into the point, controlled by the machine. Take that and put into the middle. And Minnesota tries to set things up. Foster pressures from the outside. It'll be picked off by Lee in front. Battle ensuing as Minnesota will take the puck to the corner. Minnesota Machine in orange, leading 3-2 over Lake Effect Elite in white. White Power Edge Pro uniforms. And back comes McCann. He has a shorty. And Lee will be just as pulling the puck in offsides as McCann had entered the zone. Left it for Lee, but it was just outside the blue line. It'll force Lake Effect on an offside play. And we'll get a neutral zone face off here outside of the Minnesota zone. Denny on the draw. Outnumbered there. Good puck support by Minnesota. Get it into the Lake Effect end. Looking in front. Great defensive play by Denny on the back pressure. McCann will come away with it. Knocked down in front of the Lake Effect benchers. Fowler on the forecheck. Minnesota able to work it to the face-off dot of the Lake Effect end. Bedoin will get to it on the outside. Puck sent all the way across. As Riker hits Morris up the left wing side. Fowler there to pressure. Back come the machine. Driving through center. 3 Lake Effect Elite players back to defend as the centering pass goes off the stick of Reynolds. Pushed wide by Morris. Gonna come in for Casting. Weaving through into the offense zone. Can he pull it up right between 2 defenders to the backhand before being kicked out? Another silky mitts moves there by Casting. Back come the machine. Trying to go around Foster. He'll force that behind and he'll play takeaway there. Machine able to get the puck back before stepping on the stick of Foster. Down goes a Machine player. And we'll have another penalty here on Lake Effect. I think that's 5 in a row on the Lake Effect Elite. They've done a phenomenal job killing them. With 11:35, they need another. I mean, it's been the story of the game has been this penalty kill for Lake Effect, including the shorthanded goal by McCann. I think it'll be so to take the faceoff. Barron unable to get control here. They battle in their own end. Lee now gets it. Looking it up in front of the bench. Bouncing puck swiped at by Barron. Here comes Lee with it. They are in their own end, but they have control of the puck, able to get it all the way up. Barron comes out with it, trying to find Show. Just taken away by the machine at the last minute. They'll gain the zone. Driving in. Good stick by Lee to disrupt things. It's kept at the line, though, before being cleared all the way down by the Texan. Up and off the stick of a Minnesota player, defended by Reynolds to the outside. Dan followed on as Benoit will put it in behind the cage before Reynolds spins it up the half wall to be possessed there by Minnesota. Pulling it off the wall, setting across ice speed that's picked up. They'll set up the half wall. Along the wall, two defensemen up high for the Machine as they drive in. Finding the seam, winding, firing one wide of the cannoli. It'll be played up to the point, now at the center. McCann up after. His pressure forces the turnover. Here's Denny with the puck. Weaving in, onside, cutting to the middle as it just rolled off his stick in the last minute and kept out by the goaltender. Back to come the Machine left side. Across ice speed to the right as they try to stretch out this Power Edge Pro penalty kill. Shot comes in. The cannoli run into. He's got the puck underneath him, and he's missing a glove. They'll blow the whistle as he lost the blocker there. I believe he had the puck underneath him anyway. 2 seconds left on the Foster penalty here. Looks like another gigantic penalty kill for Lake Effect. Here's Lee to the puck. Penalty over. 3-on-2 developing. Lee driving in, pulling up, finding it. Reichert at the point who forces it further. Good stick lift by Fowler along the wall. He'll play it back for Reichert. That's picked off by Minnesota. Reichert will play takeaway though at center. They battle back and forth, getting it all the way to the Power Edge line before reversed back out to center. Unable to tap it by with Castigay, and Minnesota will be off. Side. Here's Reichert with it in behind. I'll play it for Lee. Lee off the boards for McCann. And unable to get it out past that blue line. Lee will try. Twisting with it. As he plays it indirectly off the boards. No icing here. And McCann, first one to it. Looking for Fowler in front for a one-timer. Stick on puck deflected just wide. Good stick there by the Machine defense. As they come darting back through center. Castingay with the back pressure. Foster able to keep the player from getting a shot off. Great stick there. There's Castingay. The combination of the back pressure and the stick of Foster as it's sent all the way up. Morris battling for it. No icing here. Picked up by the Machine in their own end. Darting through 8:08 to play third period action. As the Machine drive in, winding, firing. The cannoli with a big save. Swiped away by Denny. Foster to it. Able to control behind. Get control. Good poise there by Foster. He'll carry it all the way out to center. He's rejected right in front of the bench, but he'll play it up to Denny. Denny in for Shank. Shank looking, has Morris. He'll gather it in. Right back to Shank, and a good stick breaks that play up for Minnesota. Denny has it in behind. Maybe that was Morris. Sorry, boys. I can't tell with the jerseys. Backwards. That is Morris. Now Shank along the wall. Back for Morris. It's Denny to the corner. Rimmed around and pressured. Puck taken away by Shank. Darting in with speed. Goes to the backhand. Protects with the outside arm as he carries to the corner. Looking in front for Morris. Rolling puck cleared by Minnesota. And the Machine back out to center. 7 minutes to go here. An exciting back and forth action from Minnesota as the cannoli fights off another one. Sorry, no cough button here, folks. So if I cough in your ear, I apologize. Here comes Morris to the line for a dump and change. Castingay, the forechecker. Can he get to the puck first? Well, at least make it difficult and play takeaway. Driving to the middle. Puck pop 3 back. Enter by Stone. Kept out. Now it's Reichert down the wall. Bouncing puck will be shoved out the center by Minnesota. Picked up by Lee in his own end. 6.5 to go. Send it back across for Reichert. Up and off the stick of Farron on side and no icing as he tracks it to the corner. Farron with the stick. I love the way he fights through it. Keeps working and battling all the way to the corner as it's reversed by the Machine. Pressure from Show. So and Farron disrupting the Minnesota breakout. As it's tossed in behind. Good takeaway there by Castonguay. Just couldn't connect on the pass, and back come the machine. Through center. Weaving in, kept to the outside by Lee, rolling puck slightly away by Foster. As a schmozzle at the side of the net, plucked out of there by Castonguay up off the stick of Farron. It'll be gathered in, rolling puck picked up by Lee. He darts, he just weaves. Stick handling through a few players to the line before being turned back the other way, but here comes Denny in support. Now Fowler. Fowler to the outside for McCann. McCann will chop it deep into the offensive zone as we wind inside of 5.5 to play. Lake Effect trailing by a goal. 3-2 as they force another turnover. Denny in front, knocked down on the play. It'll go to the corner. They're behind their own net. Go the machine as they blaze out through center, through the neutral zone. Defended well by Reichert. Reichert will find Reynolds. Reynolds up the near wing. Back in front, connects with Denny. Denny has Reichert gone to the net. He'll feed it to him. Carried on the backhand and behind the cage. Lake Effect activating those defense here. They have to. Trailing by one, but now it's a potential 3-on-1 back the other way. Reynolds defending. As they look to set things up, cross ice speed, and they'll pull it forehand to backhand on the 3-on-1 and make it 4-2 with 4.5 to play. 3-on-1 executed perfectly. Got the Lake Effect goaltender kind of sprawled out there as he had to come across to play it, and just too much space to pull it from forehand to backhand. He had to prepare for the one-timer, but good poise by the Minnesota goal scorer there. So now they are going to have to play catch-up again. They've done it a number of times, making a 2-goal lead, a 1-goal lead. Now we need to see it again with 4:20 to play here in the third. Minnesota comes flying through center again. This time again turned back. And here comes Shank with speed. Has Morris. Looks, line, fires, and Shank sends an absolute snot rocket over the cage. Foster battles along the blue line, now casting. They chip past Foster. Here comes Minnesota. Weaving to the middle, but it's perfectly defended by Beaudoin. Up for Shank. Shank across the casting gate. And there'll be offsides on the far side. I think it was McCann, just a hair offside on the right wing in front of the Minnesota bench. And what a song right here. Living after midnight. Nobody likes when I sing, folks, but you get that pleasure here on Cine TV. As Lee weaves through, he's decked on the play, and we're going to get a power play and a chance for this Lake Effect team to get right back in it. 4-2 third period action. And now we go to the man advantage. Looks like they're going to deploy Farron, McCann, Reichert, and Lee. As Lee risks one blocker away into the netting. A heavy shot from Lee is fought off by the blocker side. It'll be Lee at the blue line. Let me get across right. Down low. Up controlled. A bit of a cycle developed. Just couldn't quite connect. So, Minnesota pokes the puck away at the blue line. Darts to the middle. And good defensive play by Reichert to break it up. Here comes Lee. Potential 4-on-3. 3 orange jerseys back as Lee weaves in. Leaves it for McCann. Now back to Lee. Here's Reichert. For Lee for a blast. I don't think the goalie saw it. It hit something in front. And back come the machine. With speed, Lee will keep it wide. Good stick on puck to keep that puck from getting into the goaltender Calabrese. As Lee will play it to the outside, here comes McCann. McCann dropping one, casting game, trying to weave through, has it taken away. 45 left on the man advantage for Lake Effect. They need to get one soon. Just over 2 to play in the period. As Foster gains the line, he'll dump it around. Looking for Denny, crashing the opposite side. It'll be rimmed by Minnesota off the Lake Effect defender and picked up at their own line. Be casting Gay along the boards at center. Has it taken away. His pass picked off and played in the Minnesota end. And they'll chop it all the way down icing if it's far enough, and it is. So they'll have 8 left with the man advantage. Then a minute 38 in the period. Trailing by a pair. In these tournament settings, though, you've got to be cautious with the goalie pool because, it's not like the NHL where it comes down to points. And it does, but it'll also potentially come down to goals differentials and goal quotients and things like that. So you got to be cautious. Here's Reynolds. And they're back to full strength as Minnesota. Reynolds needing it across. Here's Lee. Looking, winding. He'll send a cross. I feed a Ducky for a missile. I don't know how that stayed out. I think it caught iron. I think he caught iron on that one. As Lee with a backhand dandy of a ditch. And there's Denny to pop the pocket with 1:03 to play. Denny off the rebound, a little POP pass off pads. And Denny on the spot gives it a little chaparoo. And it is a 1-goal affair in Minnesota. McCann on the face. Riker controls it, taken away. Here comes the machine. Back to the line. Deflected by Lee to the corner. 54 seconds left as it's controlled at the blue line by the machine. They'll rim it around behind. Lee couldn't quite get to it, twisting out of it as a machine player, feeding it right in the high slot. And a beautiful poke from behind to keep that shot from getting through. As McCann's tripped up, and they'll head back to the man advantage. Here comes Lee with the puck. Minnesota plays takeaway, but 30.3 to play, and Lake Effect will have a turkey, and it'll be on the table, folks. Power play coming with 30.3 to go in the third, with a chance to tie the game. And now we will see the empty cage, a yawning cage to your right, an open 4x6, as they will deploy a 6-on-4 man advantage. It'll be Denny, casting game, McCann, Show, Reichert, and Lee. All 3 goal scorers for Lake Effect on the ice at the moment as they battle in the corner. We had 15 seconds. And it's taken away, winding, firing. Lee just couldn't pass his reach. And it'll be an icing if it's far enough, and it is. 4.4 as the puck eludes the yawning 4x6. 4.4 seconds to play. One last chance here for Lake Effect to tie it. 6-on-4. Look for them to potentially work it back to Lee. He has an absolute missile of a shot and crash the cage. Looks like they're going to send Caston, Gay, and McCann to the net for a heavy shot from Lee. I called the play. It just got stick on puck deflected. So a 4-on-3 defeat for Lake Effect to start this one, but a valiant effort against a team, again, that plays together quite a bit in this Minnesota machine. So what a way to start the tournament, a 1-goal game. And we will see you tomorrow morning, I believe 10 o'clock. It's Central Time or Minnesota time, whatever it is. So 11 o'clock East Coast time. And for those of you on the West Coast, you have to Google it. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us as we bring you the handshake lines here from Minnesota's SDP Invitational.